Hi everybody. Haven't the last couple of days or the last few weeks even been quite incredible? There was a lot of speculation, controversy. People have been praying about who would run for which position. And I know this is probably going to be the one of the most talked about presidential elections ever in the Philippines. Of course, I understand there are many who would support Bongbong Marcos for president. And should he choose to run for president, then good luck to him. Let's hope that he succeeds in his ambition, and let's hope that if that is right, if that is destiny, let's hope that happens. Let's also think carefully about what happened today when Inday Sara Duterte withdrew her certificate of candidacy for mayor of Davao City. Now, the thing is, the Duterte family have obviously been, if you like, in charge or looking after or caring for the people of Davao for a very long time. And of course, Mayor Sara has obviously been very influential, done some fantastic work. And of course, I know it must have been very difficult for her to make that decision to withdraw her term of office for vice mayor. If you go back a little bit, I believe that Inday Sara Duterte said not both of us can't run for national positions, and it would only, of course, be either Inday Sara Duterte or her father. So, of course, when that happened, her father, President Rodrigo Duterte, then said that he would retire as President of the Republic of the Philippines. He wouldn't run again for any national position. He wouldn't run for Vice President. He would retire from politics. This then paved the way, I believe, for Inday Sara Duterte to consider a national position. Now, of course, we don't know what national position that will be at the moment, but all I can say is this. If Inday Sara Duterte had kept her candidacy for mayor of Davao City, of course she couldn't have run for a national position at the same time for running for a local position. And I can see by the videos that I've been sent and by the videos online that Inday Sara Duterte was obviously very upset about moving away from Davao. And for her to have made that decision, it must have been something that she's been thinking about, she's been praying about, she's been seeking the counsel of her good friends. Of course, I can't speak for her, I don't know her at all, really. But having met her, I can say this: she's a very strong, determined lady who's very intelligent, very clever, very intelligent, and I know she's a strong-willed woman. You know, some people have said that Inday Sara Duterte may be too young for a national position or maybe too young to run for president. But I can say this, she's led Davao very, very well. And I know she has a very commanding presence. I remember when I met her in London for breakfast, she was really at the head of the table. People respect her, people look up to her. She has this charisma, she has this charm. And of course, I know that she is greatly respected and greatly loved by all who meet her. So here's the thing, will she run for a position as President of the Republic of the Philippines, or would she run for Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines? As much as people are hoping that she would run for a particular position, I'm sure people are praying that she would run for a particular position, the fact is, it's her decision. She's not a silly lady, she's not a silly woman, she's a very intelligent, caring, resourceful, respectful, and great leader. And whatever she puts her hand to, I believe she can do that very, very well. Many of my followers have been messaging me and commenting online that it should be Inday Sara Duterte as Vice President And of course, Bongbong Marcos as president. Many people have said that it's the destiny of Bongbong Marcos to become president of the Philippines. Of course, everyone remembers what happened back in 2016 when, of course, Bongbong Marcos was, some would say, robbed, some would say it was very, very close, he was pipped to the post. But whatever the case, there must have been a massive amount of people voting for him, because the if you like, the gap between Lenny and Bongbong Marcos was, of course, very, very small, and it could have easily gone either way. But the fact is, Bongbong Marcos went for vice president and didn't make it. And some would argue, and I would say too, that he deserves a second chance. He deserves another chance at a national position. But we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. We don't know the conversation that Bongbong Marcos and his family had with Inday Sara Duterte. It's not for us to say. I just hope, and I think whatever, exactly, Melvin, I think the reason why I'm doing this video is, whatever they have decided between themselves, if they've made any decision at all, I believe we owe them that respect. And I believe that every DDS, every supporter of President Duterte, and every supporter of the Duterte administration and the Duterte family should really be leaving the decision to Inday Sara, to Bongbong Marcos. Of course we can pray, of course we can hope, of course we can wish for them to run for a certain position. But I'm sure they're both very, very intelligent, and I'm sure they look at social media. I'm sure they understand fully what the Filipino public wants and who would vote for them in which position. But whichever way it is, whether it's Bongbong Marcos as president and Inday Sara Duterte as vice president, or vice versa, Inday Sara Duterte as president, Bongbong Marcos as vice president. Let's not bash them. Let's not say they've made the wrong decision. Let's not get angry over their decision. Let's respect them. Let's respect their decision. And let's hope they make the right decision for the benefit of the Philippines and the Filipino people. But I can say this, as a tandem with Bongbong Marcos and Inday Sara Duterte, I can say this, I believe as a tandem they are unbeatable. Whichever way you look at it, it's not for us to say, and I'll be drawn into this again. People were saying to me, oh, it's the time of Bongbong Marcos to be president, it's the time of Inday Sara to be the president. They know right at this moment. There are people praying for them, they've been obviously looking at social media. They know what's best. And I just hope that people will respect their decision, and whichever decision they make, nobody's forced them to make that decision. It's their decision, and I really do hope that people would respect that. That's my view. I'm not going to say what's best. I'm not a Filipino voter. It's not up to me to say which is the best tandem. It's up for the Filipino people to decide, and up for them themselves, not really the Filipino people. Of course the Filipino people can pray for them. Of course the Filipino people have their preferences. The voters have their preferences. Which is the best combination? Which is the best tandem? Which way will the votes go? Which way will the Filipino people vote? But I can say this, I do wish them both the very best. And I do know that obviously this has been very, very difficult for them. For Inday Sara Duterte, there was a time she said she wouldn't run at all. And now, of course, I know she's really considering, obviously she must be considering running. Why else would she withdraw her candidacy of Davao Mayor? Obviously, clearly, she's not going to disappear from politics. Clearly, she's going to stay in politics. So clearly there is a path now, a route now, for her to run for a national position, particularly now that her father has now said that he's retiring from politics. He won't be running for a national position. this clearly paves the way for Inday Sara Duterte to run for a national position. Now again, I know people are praying about what position she would run for, and it's not for us to say. It's not for the Filipino public to say. People can have their preferences, voters can have their preferences. But I believe all we can do is we can pray, we can support them, we can pray for whoever is the best candidate, and I believe that's what we should be doing. We should be praying for them, we should be praying for what's right, for them to decide what to do, what's right between them, and whichever way they decide to go, I believe we should pray for them, we should respect them, and we should support them, because as I said, as a tandem, I believe they are unbeatable. I really think they would seriously wipe Lenny away, you know. I really think they would walk all over Lenny, but I think if one of them was to run and the other one didn't run, I think it might be more difficult. I think it might be more close. There's a lot of people running as president. Some people would support them, some people wouldn't support them. And I think if one of them doesn't run and it's just one of them running, I do think it might be a split vote, like who would be vice president. If Bongbong Marcos runs as president, who would be vice president? It will be split as to people, who would people be voting for. But as a tandem, whichever way they run, I do think they've got a very, very good chance. And I do believe that many of the Filipino public would vote for the one or the other. You know, I've been speaking to so many people, and every single person I speak to mentions either Inday Sara Duterte or Bongbong Marcos. You know, and I do talk to people when I'm online, when I message people, and I do believe this is a very strong tandem. And as much as I thought, okay, there's no chance of Inday Sara Duterte running because she was staying as mayor of Davao, I'm now thinking something could happen. The possibility of a switch, the possibility of her running for a national position has now become a lot more clearer, a lot more possible. And let's hope and let's pray, and I hope the Filipino public will pray with me, and let's respect their decision. Let's not try and force them to run a certain way. Let's respect their decision, because only they know. They've obviously spoken about it, they've obviously thought about it, they've obviously decided what to do and what's the right thing to do, and let's respect that. But let me say, I do respect them both, and I wish them the very, very best, and whichever way, you know, they have my support, they have my prayers, and that's all I can say. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and best wishes to everybody wherever you are around the world. Maraming salamat po.